Good morning. Happy Sunday. I decided to turn the game off just so we could talk for a little bit. Um, it's a good Sunday, you know. I got up at 6 to start baking some bread, went back to bed for an hour after that. Um, Bread is well, it's on its third rise. It's probably gonna start baking soon. Got the laundry in. I showered. All that good stuff. Preparing for tomorrow, where tomorrow I go into the office, so. I know that today I had said that I was going to play Gwent, the Witcher card game, but when I was starting it up today, as I always test run my games beforehand, before I go live, it said that I needed a GOG account, and with them saying that, I recalled that I have played Gwent, the Witcher card game before, just not through Steam. I played it directly through GOG. It was such a pain in the butt that I eventually uninstalled GOG. I have no idea what my username and stuff is. And yeah, it's not actually unplayed, and I remember not particularly enjoying it, so we're just gonna skip that one. That one doesn't count. Which means we reached the end of the Gs. So I figured I would open today by giving my retrospective of the Gs. There weren't that many of them. We had Garden Pause, which I would say if you enjoy a game like Stardew Valley, but you're like, I want to focus more on capitalism, Garden Pause might be for you. A big part of Garden Pause was opening your store and putting items there for sale. This is as opposed to the Stardew Valley where you just dump things in the bin and you magically make money. You have to actually man your cash register, otherwise you don't make sales. So yeah, if you wanted to run a store, in addition to your normal farming and harvesting and stuff like that, Garden Pause might be for you. It was not for me. I do not enjoy the retail aspect. We get enough of that in real life, in my opinion. But some people are like, oh, it's my dream to run a store, so. And it has cute little animal characters, so, it might be for you. Genesis Noir. I was deeply intrigued by this game, but I ultimately was not able to play it. It had a epilepsy warning in the beginning, and it said to turn off flash. There's a flash option. And so I went to the options and I turned that off, but it was still pretty flickery, even with that option turned off. And I think I only got through about 30 minutes of it before I had to turn it off because I was doing all kinds of ticks and stuff. So, if you are not a photosensitive person, it looks like a very interesting game. It has really good music, if I recall, like nice jazz noir type music. Very interesting aesthetic. But yeah, I didn't even really get into the gameplay, so I don't even really know. The next game was G-Nog, or Nog, perhaps, with a silent G? I don't know. But it was the game with the little robot heads. This game was originally intended for VR and mobile, and it showed. The mouse and keyboard controls were sometimes very frustrating when turning knobs and things like that. I did manage to solve one of the robot heads. Did not solve the next one, the purple one with the music. I could not figure out what it wanted me to do. I think I progressed pretty far into it, but it's like I wasn't sure what it wanted me to do, and I just got really bored with it. It seemed like it could be a nice, safe game for kids. You can kind of play with little robot heads, and like the purple one in particular, like you could kind of compose music on it. So, that might be good for its own sake, like kind of a Spelunksy, Spelunks or Captain Osmo or one of those. It's like a modern version of that. But yeah, I didn't want to continue with it. Not my kind of thing. Go Home Dinosaurs. This one I actually did play for a little bit. It is a tower defense game in a similar vein to Hi Devils. In a similar vein to I'm just going over because I realized Devils that I had played Gwent before, and that you need a special GOG account that I no longer have. So I'm just giving a retrospective of all the Gs right now, and then we're gonna hop into more Gordian Quest, picking up where we left off from yesterday. So the Witcher card game, yeah, nope. Was gonna be the Witcher card game, and then it had too many barriers, and nope. So Go Home Dinosaurs was tower defense in similar vein of like Bloons, where it's, you know, cartoony, protect your base. Part of me when playing it was kind of like, I could just play Bloons. I think Superbase pointed out at the time that it is a little cheaper than Bloons. And, you know, it's fine. It was fairly easy, and then I suddenly hit a wall where it was the first time I died, and like I could not figure out how to survive. Previous to that, the difficulty was going up a little bit. I did lose a couple of stars, or steaks, as they have them because it's barbecue. But then I just hit a wall and I couldn't get through, and I was like, oh, okay. I think I tried 3 or 4 times and I couldn't even get close. So the mileage may vary, but if you like tower defense games, it seemed like a decent entry as a tower defense game. No controls issues or anything like that. Oh, and it had the little bit of an interesting thing where you controlled the little gopher, and so he could move. So that's something that I feel like made it maybe a little bit unique. Because I don't think that Bloons had that feature, at least not natively. Maybe it's something you unlock later. Golf Peaks. Golf Peaks was a cute little puzzle game. Again, it was originally created for mobile, but I did not find that it had controls issues, so that was nice. It is a puzzler. You get a certain number of moves, and they show up as cards, and you play it to say, this is the move I want to do, and you have to do them in the right order and in the right direction in order to get in the hole. Very simple concept. One of those, you know, easy to get started games, and then they just introduce little wrinkles like a sand pit or a water hazard that make it a little more complicated. But yeah, if you like a nice relaxing puzzler, I would say Golf Peaks is decent. A Good Snowman is Hard to Build was the next game, and it was also a puzzle game. Got to be pretty challenging. You're a little dude and you try to make snowmen. You have to have the 3 balls of snow be the proper size, and it can be difficult because you're like rolling it through the snow and then it accidentally becomes too big and you can't like unmake it big. You just have to start over. So, you know, there is a rewind feature, thankfully, so you don't have to start completely over. But, yeah, I think I kind of get to a point with puzzle games where I enjoy the first couple of levels, and then if it gets to a certain difficulty, I don't want to stream them because it's just me staring at my computer for 30 minutes and on one level, and that's like not entertaining to watch, I don't think. But also, I don't really like racking my brain that hard on the same thing. It makes me feel stuck in a way that other strategy games don't, because they keep moving. But like for what it was as a puzzle game, I think it was great. It's older, but I think it still holds up. and it's very cute. I love that you could like rest on the hedges or on the bench and then this camera slowly zooms out. Like again, it's a very kind of relaxing, chill puzzle. So yeah, that one was pretty good. And then finally, that brings us to Gordian Quest, which is the 5th entry in that Devious Deck Builders bundle that I got on Humble Bundle back in April of this year. And boy, this game kind of has everything. It's an RPG, so it has a skill tree, items, potions, and things like that. Actual combat is done as a deck builder with tile tactics. You'll have a row of, 2 rows with several columns, or like 3 rows and several columns, and people move around and stuff. And cards that have attacks or blocks or, move to a new tile type thing. And there's this explore mini game where you're trying to find treasure and stuff. Like, there's a lot. And it also has a story. Gordian is more of the type of deck builder you're into. Oh boy. Well, I'm going to continue playing it after this review because I enjoyed it so much that I played it for 3.5 hours. And, people who watch the Unplayed series know that a lot of times I will play for the mandatory hour and then switch to something else. And this one made me want to keep playing. And so I figured, since I'm not actually playing Gwent today, I wasn't ready to start the H's, so I figured I would keep going into Gordian Quest. I mean, they said that the first run through, the first campaign is like 15 to 30 hours. So we're probably only 10 to 20% through the first campaign. And then after that, you can, play again, but on a different difficulty. You can change it to, from regular mode to roguelite or roguelike. And, have that be more difficult where there's like permadeath. You can change your starting character. I started with the cleric, but, you could start with bard, you could start with the warlock, or whatever you want to do. So it just seems like there's a lot of hours of gameplay in a $20 game. And I got it for even cheaper because I got it on the bundle. So very, very pleased. Between Estrella and this game, and honestly, Dungeon Drafters is not bad either. Between those games, it's like, yeah, that was a good purchase. That was definitely a good purchase. And I'm appreciative of this series, this Unplayed series, for really letting me hone in on what kinds of games I actually like. Because when I saw deck builders, like, oh, okay, I know I like deck builders. And so I made that purchase and it was good. And we just won't talk about Book of Hours. That was the other one in that bundle that was not good. But that's okay. So, yeah, and I don't think we played anything out of order this time. So I think, yeah, that was the G's. And with that, we're going to go ahead and begin or resume Gordian Quest. SteamWorld Quest is similar, but it leans heavier into the JRPG side of things. Ah, okay.